Yes, ma'am. Hi everyone. I am Mathri Gaur. Today we have with us Dr. Madhumita Puri. She's the founder, CEO of Society for Child Development, Trash to Cash, and a Vacuum. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for connecting with us today. So, let me start with the first question. Can you tell us more about yourself as a person than a professional working woman?
I beg your pardon?
Can you tell us more about yourself as a person than a professional working woman?
I don't know. At some point in life, what happens, these two seamlessly come together. So you cannot keep yourself as a person separate from what you are doing for a majority of the day. Um, you become the work and the work becomes you. So I really won't be able to answer that question because I'm not really very different from the work that I do.
Okay, sure, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you tell us more about a vacuum?
Okay, it's pronounced avakayam.
Avakayam. Okay, so
Avakayam,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah, that's okay. Avakayam is a Sanskrit word which means gathering flowers,
Okay.
and we use that name after we launched our first program for skill development for young adults with disabilities. The program was collecting flowers from temples and recycling them into products of utility. These flowers would otherwise have been thrown into the river and created irreparable harm there, which it continues to do in many parts of the country and even in our own city. But the aim here was to marry these two thoughts together, that we will do good for the environment, and the people who are doing the good for the environment are also going to benefit from it. In this case, people with disabilities, especially youngsters with intellectual disabilities, find a means of making an earning.
Okay, ma'am. That's a really good initiative. So, ma'am, like, what in the first place influenced you to set up this organization? Because we also see people with disabilities, but it's like many people never think of creating this kind of organization. So, what in the first place inspired you or influenced you?
So, by education, I'm a psychologist.
Okay.
And many years ago, in fact, some 35 years ago, I was working in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in the genetics unit. Now, the genetics unit happens to be the one stop where parents of children to be or children who have been born already come to find reasons for their children's delay or any difficulty they may be having or before it's pronounced into a disability. So the 10 years that I worked there, I began to realize and understand, of course, realization was always there. I began to believe that the place for these children should not be the hospital. Because what happens is the one stop shop where you go to, the one stop where you go and reach out to, it could be the early initial years, could be the hospital. But thereafter, the repeated and multiple visits to hospital should not happen because disability by itself is a lifelong process and you come to the hospital for a cure. We don't go to hospital for anything other than a cure or a treatment. Now, we know that people with disabilities don't really get over the problem. If you have a developmental delay, or you have brain damage, or you have loss of limb, or you have difficulty in your body, then that's not going away. What's going to happen is you can arrest it from becoming worse, or you have to learn to live with it. So the
Yes.
learning to live with it is what we believe cannot take place in a hospital setting. It has to be outside. It has to be in a school. It has to be in normal playground with families, friends, and so on. Like all of us have lived life. So that's when I took the plunge. I started the organization in 1992. And from then onwards, been trying to see what is the lay of the land, what is the situation, current market situation in terms of education, in terms of skill development, in terms of jobs, in terms of anything that impacts their lives.
Okay.
And constantly evolving the services to suit the needs of the hour, the the scenario, the economic, the political, the social scenario, which is relevant in today's date, not 30 years ago. So I may have started with one understanding of the field, but that has obviously over the years taken and undergone a change as well in keeping with the current times.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, like, what strategies every day do you use to, motivate yourself?
I don't need to motivate myself.
Okay. Okay, sure, ma'am. No worries. So, ma'am, it's like if I want to open an NGO to,
Uh,
help the needy. So, what are the procedures? Like, how do we get the funding in the first place when, when you are firstly starting to set up the organization?
so, as per, there are two ways of looking at this. One is a social view, and the other one would be the legal view. So, if you look at the legal view, then you start an organization and you cannot, and you reach out into the community for funds. Then, legally, after 3 years, you are given um, a tax exemption certificate that permits you to provide for people who are giving you a donation a tax certification so that they can also benefit from the donation. But that is only after 3 years. Similarly, you can take donations from the government again after 3 years. Oh, sorry, grants from the government again after 3 years. Similarly, CSR. So the first 3 years, legally, what the government says or what the law says is that you prove that what you are doing has a stability, it has an ability to work by itself, and that you're not doing it only for the money that you will collect from here and there. So once the first 3 years have passed, you can apply for these various uh, exemptions that the government provides, and then you can go about collecting the donations in another way.
Oh, okay,
Socially,
ma'am.
what happens is that you can reach out to friends, family, neighbors, your immediate community, and who know you personally and who are willing to invest not large sums of money, but small sums of money to help you do your noted work, your work that you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, like till now, like if I ask you, what is your biggest challenge when it comes to people management in your firm?
See, people management is so linked to so many other things, so I wouldn't say. But first of all, directly to answer your question, we are working with people with disabilities from very poor sections of the community. Now, when we reach out to them and they come, they are absolutely do not have any of the skills, whether they are trade based skills or they are social skills or they are work ethics. They have no introduction to any of that. All that they have seen in their lives are the confines of their home, where family and parents might be overindulgent and who allow them to get away with a lot more than they would allow other people to get away with, or their other children to get away with, or their other relatives to get away with. So, given this scenario, they have grown up in this very relaxed kind of an atmosphere. Now, that relaxed kind of atmosphere does not exist in the work situation. In the work situation, at least in our organization, what I tell all the people is that your disability or your status or your difficult condition permits you in immediate access to our services. But thereafter, you will have to perform at par with everyone else. Of course, given all the challenges that they face, there are different standards. But that does not mean that you will get away with doing less than you are capable of. So constantly push the bar. Now that is a very challenging thing because you that means will have to focus on the person slipping off or being a little lax in their work and constantly pulling them up. It's a very tiring job. That part is extremely tiring to keep tabs on everyone, and you would expect. But after they have crossed this phase of learning, which actually lasts a long time, because you have to unlearn everything that you had at childhood. You have learned over the years that you can get away with anything. Then suddenly you come to a situation where you are not able to get away with everything. So that is difficult. It's extremely difficult to do. That is one challenge with the people who we work with. The second challenge is that to constantly, after all, they are poor people, they want to earn. So we can't say that, you finish your 5 years of training and only then you start earning. Not possible. So a certain amount of stipend or certain money for transportation has to be given. Now that's where another problem begins. That where do you find that kind of finances? So I would say that the population we work with, who are also the population we serve, and the financial challenges, those are the two main challenges that we have.
Oh, okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, like as you were telling earlier that that your program has improved over time. So, ma'am, like for the future references, like what is your firm's true mission or vision for the future?
No, I wouldn't say that our program has improved. Our
Okay,
program has kept up with the times,
okay. Yes, ma'am.
right? So if today I am teaching them I do skill development, then I will not do skill development in an area where I know their ability to find jobs is very limited, which their ability to find jobs would have been applicable 3 decades ago. For example, the blind, for example, people with visual impairments. 3 decades ago, they were all trained how to be telephone operators. You didn't really need vision. But in today's date, is a telephone operator's job applicable anymore? No. If 3 decades ago, there were data entry operators, the visually impaired could easily do it. But is that a relevant job in today's date? No. So, to keep up with the time, that has been one of the key characteristics of our program, which I do believe is very different from what other people have done. For other people, other NGOs, many NGOs are like us also, who are not afraid of change. But there are many NGOs who will continue to do the same path, believing that that will finally reach the ultimate goal. It will. For some, it does. It's not as if it's a failure for everyone.
Oh, okay, ma'am. So it's like if I ask you, what is your biggest achievement till date, like in your organization or like in personal life as well?
My personal life biggest achievement is I've been able to hang on to this despite all the challenges for so many years. And I think that I will pat myself on the back for that. It's a
Yes,
very,
ma'am. I
very
think for
challenging
30
job.
years it's been there, right? So yeah, okay. So like,
So
ma'am,
that's
how
the,
was your journey throughout, like from like back to 30 years till now?
it's been a very interesting journey. But when you are so deeply immersed in it becomes like a part of your life. So will you look back that, well, you're not even 30, both of you. So you wouldn't be able to. But however many years you are, look back and say, how's my journey been? You say, but I was living life so much that I will not be able to really evaluate. All I will say is take each day as it comes and then resolve the issues. So if you resolve today, then tomorrow uh, will be a better day.
Oh, okay,
So
ma'am. So
as
like,
my
yeah.
no.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
No, is it so similarly the organization also believes in the same thing, that you look at today, resolve your issues today, then tomorrow you will have a better day. But if I'm going to put it off tomorrow for tomorrow, or wishing that things would be different and not do anything about it today, then that is a sort of a recipe for disaster in my books. Other people do it in whatever
Okay, so now I think this is going to be my motto in life, the thing which you just said.
way.
So it's like any piece of advice for our generation or like to us both that you want to give.
Well, I'll sound very cliched when I say that number one, you must believe in yourself, but don't believe in yourself so much that you become complacent and arrogant. So there, it's a very, very fine dividing line between knowing that you have the capacity to do it, being humble enough to understand that you have not reached there and there's a long way to go, and to be extremely critical of your of your what you do. I wouldn't term them as failures because who knows what's a failure. Sometimes it seems like a failure today, 5 years down the line will be, oh wow, that thing happened. Remember, I wish it at that time. I wished it didn't happen, but it did, and so it made me change. So the main thing is believe in what you do, but be balanced in how you do it. That's it. Believe in what you
Okay.
do.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So, like, that's it for today. Thank you so much for connecting with us. And this is our day 5, and I think that this is the interview that I like the most because we got to know about so many new things, and like so many things motivated me to work for the needy people. So, ma'am, one more thing. It's like to felicitate you. We have a certificate by DORAI Foundation. So, like, I would like to present my screen. Siddharth, can you take the screenshot then?
Yeah, Maitri, I will.
Okay, okay. Is my screen shared?
Yes, Maitri.
Okay. Here is it.
Zoom it out a little. Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. That's good. Your IT is good.
Ma'am, she was really excited to take your interview. Like,
Like we were searching so much about you, and we were like very excited at the end of the day. Ki, yaar, should we are going to interview ma'am?
Thank you very much. Thank
Siddharth, this is done.
yes, Maitri, it's done.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So okay, Siddharth, we can stop the recording. We can end the
Uh,
interview.
you.
just a second.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
and
much.
bye.
Bye bye,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, ma'am.